All right, Dave, Thursday Night Football.
Nah.
Minnesota's at the Chargers. The stat of the game from weeks 5 through 7, the last 3 weeks, the Chargers are allowing the second most points per game in the NFL. The only team worse has been the Bengals. They are tied. The Bengals and the Chargers are tied. Most yards per play allowed over the last 3 weeks. The Chargers have given up 27 points to the Commanders, 27 at Miami, 38 points to the Colts in their last 3 games. Their run defense has been horrible. They're getting a little bit healthier. I was reading about it in The Athletic and the reasons for the struggles against the run. One of them was the absence of Khalil Mack, who played a little bit last week, the absence of Denzel Perryman, who came back last week, et cetera, et cetera. I'll skip all the details, but hopefully they're getting better. But holy cow, I mean, this defense has been horrible. Jamie, are we expecting the Vikings to put up a big number here against the Chargers on the road Thursday?
There's certainly the potential for that. It's hard to trust Carson Wentz because the pass offense has not looked great, and the pass defense for the Chargers has still been very solid prior to the Colts game. So will they have the same type of success? I think Wentz is in the low end starting conversation, given the week and the teams that are by. But I think you just look at the body of work for the Chargers, and you wonder can they have that level of success? So I don't want to, fully buy into Wentz. Like I'm starting him in super flex and 2 quarterback leagues, but in a 1 quarterback league, I'd rather start Flacco by far.
Would you rather start Tyrod Taylor against the Bengals, assuming the Jets quarterback or Wentz?
If Garrett Wilson plays, I would start Tyrod Taylor. I don't think we'll know that though by Thursday night.
Yeah. All right, Heath, how much is your ranking of Jordan Mason, who is facing a team that, as I said earlier, has allowed 29 or more fantasy points to 3 straight running backs? That would be Corey Krosky-Merrick, Devon Achane, and Jonathan Taylor. How much would your ranking of Jordan Mason change if Aaron Jones is activated?
It would probably go down a couple of spots. I think I've got him right around RB20 right now. I think you might see his share of the workload go down just a little bit, but he's got 1 game with over a 70% snap share, and it was last week. And Xavier Scott got hurt last week, right?
I didn't think so. Did he?
He's got a red cross next to his name.
Oh, okay.
I think he was hurt coming into the week.
So like you look at his touches, and it was 15 last week. It was 18 the week before. He's got a 16 and an 18 in there. Well, he had a 16 and a 12 with Aaron Jones. So maybe you expect he's going to have 14 touches instead of 16 touches this week. The catches are so inconsistent.
Yeah.
You've got 2 3-catch games sandwiched in between 2 0-catch games. And I think if Aaron Jones is back, you're probably not getting more than maybe 1 catch. And as bad as the Chargers run defense has been the last 3 weeks is how bad the Vikings run offense has been the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, rank the running backs in this game. Mason's 1.
I've got Vidal over Mason.
Oh.
Mason's 1. Vidal is 2. Jones would be 3.
And Jamie, are you saying Mason's 1 with or without Aaron Jones?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I mean, 6.5 yards allowed to running backs in their last 3 games for the Chargers. So they're hoping that the better health is going to result in, better defense. But by the way, these 2 teams are 2 of the most pass heavy teams. The Vikings are back to having a very, very high pass rate, which is good. Heath, why? We'll get back to that in a second. Why are you optimistic about Vidal coming off a game with 7.5 fantasy points against the Colts?
Well, as much as we talk about how bad the Chargers defense has been recently, the Chargers are still favorites on a short week. And the Vikings have an implied total of, I think, 20.5, and the Chargers are at 24. I generally lean towards the home team on a short week, and I don't know that the Vikings run defense is great either.
It's been pretty up and down. Like last week, it was great against Barkley. The week before, it was terrible against Judkins, then terrible against Gainwell. They've had ups and downs for sure. Okay, and then Jamie, where do you have Vidal?
He's in the top 24, but it's by default. If this was a normal week, he would be outside the top 24. we have a 2-game sample size of what this Chargers rush offense looks like without Amari Hampton there. And it was one great game against the Miami Dolphins, and it was one terrible game against the Indianapolis Colts. And so I think the Vikings run defense is probably the best run defense that they've faced. And so if he's going to struggle against the Colts, and especially if the Vikings offense shows up, I think we've seen enough now that they'll quickly abandon the run. So I'm just a little bit nervous about what Vidal is going to look like if he doesn't score a touchdown.
Here's a question. Start 2 this week in full PPR. Rico Dowdle, Bill, Vidal.
I would sit Bill.
I would sit Bill too.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully Vidal gets some targets, as someone mentioned in the chat, and that because what's his name? Bill doesn't really get those. How about this? Matthew Golden or Kamani Vidal?
Vidal.
I'd go Vidal, but that Steelers secondary looked so bad last week. Like, hopefully Jordan Love can take advantage of it with Golden, but it's hard to trust Golden right now as a guy in comparison to, at least Vidal's getting touches.
All right, let's talk about the wide receivers in this game. Let's save that. Let's save that real quick. Starter sit Justin Herbert.
Start.
Herbert or Dart at Philadelphia.
Herbert.
I would go Herbert.
Herbert or Caleb Williams at Baltimore.
Herbert.
Herbert.
Okay, so I'm hoping that this does not come true, but the Vikings see the second fewest pass attempts per game in the NFL, and they're facing a team that throws the ball more than any team in football. So I'm hoping that we get that, because last week we had the same situation. It was the Niners versus the Falcons, and the Niners threw 26 times. So we're hoping for that, 35 to 45 pass attempt game for Justin Herbert.
To be fair, they faced the Browns.
Talking about Minnesota?
Yeah.
It's every single week teams aren't throwing on them. I went through every game log. Why aren't teams throwing on Minnesota? And I honestly cannot come up with a great reason. Some of them have just been run-heavy teams. Last week, the Eagles couldn't really run the ball. They threw 23 passes and they torched them, but they only ran 49 plays. It's been a different reason almost every week.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I come back to is Justin Herbert's playing very well, and they just gave up 5 passing touchdowns in the last 2 games to Dylan Gabriel and Jalen Hurts. And so, to Heath's point about Jalen Hurts taking unfair criticism, he's still not the best passer in the league, and he's not at Justin Herbert's level of a passer. With what the strength of the Chargers offense is right now, like, those 4 pass catchers should have a field day.
Everybody, just stay tuned and maybe record this. Heath's head might explode if anyone says anything bad about Jalen Hurts.
No.
Heath, rank the wide receivers.
It was really bad about Jalen Hurts. I just don't think he's Justin Herbert as a passer.
Right. I don't know how we could ever expect Jalen Hurts to have as much success in his career as Justin Herbert's.
Not success in career. It's throwing of the football.
People are good as a pure passer as Herbert.
Man, I think you could just about throw the Chargers into, like, if anybody used to play bingo a long time ago, you just put the 3 balls in the thing and spin it around and draw one out. Because I've gone through the data, and the only thing that really stands out is that nothing.
Yep.
Like there's not anything that really gives you a good indicator. So I mostly am just starting all 3 of the Chargers. I have it currently ranked Keenan, Ladd, Quentin, but they're all between 10 and 20. And I would just start all 3 of them. Jefferson is ahead of all of them. I think I've got Addison behind all of them, but he's a start also. So just start all 5 wide receivers in this game.
Jamie, your thoughts?
I agree. The order for me is Jefferson 1, Allen 2, McConkey 3, Addison 4, Johnston 5.
Got some questions in the chat. Maybe this will clear things up. First of all, Herbert questions. Yeah, exactly. Herbert or Nix?
Bo Nix is my start of the week, so I'd go Nix. I have him 1 spot ahead.
I've got Herbert 1 spot ahead, but they're both starts.
Herbert or Drake May against Cleveland?
Herbert.
Quentin Johnston or Kamani Vidal, or start both and sit Wandale or Diggs in half PPR?
I just don't understand these people who have all of these good players to start this week. Did you not draft anybody with a week 8 bye? Fantastic. Good job, guys.
All of these guys were late picks, that also like this
right.
is
That's true.
I love how this is what you consider great players.
Yeah. Right.
Well, for this week.
No, I get it, but it's just funny. Like, look at the names: Quinn Johnston, waiver wire guy; Vidal, waiver wire guy; Wandale, potentially waiver wire guy; Diggs, we didn't know what to expect.
I think, boy, this is tough. I think I'm sitting Kamani Vidal,
I'm
but
sending Vidal to you.
I would probably. I think
actually,
I've got just
Wandale. Sorry, Heath. Go ahead.
no. I
Wandale's my favorite of this list.
Half PPR though, like full PPR maybe. Half PPR. I'm
I don't
not
know. 7 for 95 every week looks pretty good to me, and no
I
matter
don't know
what
about
format.
that. Yeah, but I don't trust. I'll never trust Wandale, but I see your point.
half PPR. I think I've got Johnston the lowest, but
All right, but they're all in the same boat. Vidal or
Right.
Quentin Johnston.
Johnston.
it'd be Vidal for me.
All right, and then the tight ends, Hawkinson or Gadsden. Who do you like better?
Gadsden.
Guessing. But I mean,
Hawkinson's
give
pretty
Hawkins
good.
some credit. His last 3 games, 9.8 PPR points or more. So 6 targets each of the last 2 games. So or maybe 6 catches each of the last 2 games. Like he's been involved.
His only like really bad games were with McCarthy throwing 22 times a game or something like that. And now they're throwing a lot more. And
It
Hawkins,
is a tough matchup though.
it is, yeah. 7th fewest fantasy points. All right, who would you start Gadsden over? People are spending all their fab on him. I got Gadsden or Hunter Henry in the chat. That's easy one, right? We think.
Gadsden.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw what I tweeted yesterday. I just happened to be in the car, and Oronde Gadsden Sr., his father, was a local radio spot with Mark Hochman and Channing Crowder on WQAM 560 WQAM in Miami, and he said he's benched his son each of the last 2 weeks in his fantasy league, and he said he will stay on the bench because I'm not messing with karma.
there we go.
That's well done. Good job, Dad.
Mason-
Gadsden over Henry.
Mason Taylor or Gadsden?
Gadsden.
Gadsden, but I do like Taylor this week.
Gadsden or Jake Ferguson, non-PPR?
Ferguson.
Let's see. We got Aaron Jones if he plays or Tyler Algier.
Oh man, I like Algier a lot this week. I'd probably go Jones in PPR and Algier in half and none.
Sure.
How about Gadsden or Dalton Kincaid?
I like Kincaid a lot if he plays, but I probably would play it safe and go Gadsden just because you don't know.
I would unless we get a really strong indicator in the next 36 hours, it's going to have to be Gadsden.
Gadsden or Goddard?
I would go Goddard.
I have Goddard higher.
Gadsden or Kittle?
Kittle.
Are you starting a DST?
I prefer not to.
These DSTs have stunk. They have really stunk, but both teams are a little turnover prone. Try to get away from these DSTs.